Translator, Ninetater, Fish Creek. The dragon Chillin drank its fill and cast a look toward Chin-Mu. I'm still a little hungry. I'll take you to Refined Pills. Chin-Mu led this dragon Chillin to the warehouse, intending to purchase herbs to refine Scarlet Fire spirit pills. Meanwhile, there was a Taoist across from Jade Dragon Lake who was watching this side. When he saw Chin-Mu bring the dragon Chillin away, he muttered, "That dragon lion before the mountain gate has come alive? Why did it come to Jade Dragon Palace to drink? Who is that youth? Doesn't he know the water of Jade Dragon Palace is meant to be offered to the royal family? Forget it. So long as they don't wash in the lake, there's no need to fuss over a few drinks." Chin-Mu passed by Royalties Park and saw many scholars gathered there, with cheers rising and falling. Chin-Mu glanced from afar, and even the scholars from Scholars' Residence were rushing over. There were also Divine Arts practitioners from Divine Arts Residence, crowding Royalties Park until it was utterly impenetrable. All at once, a thunderous boom rang out as a figure was blasted up into the air, head first, and crashed down. A voice cried, "Another one is defeated." Chin-Mu leapt in shock. The one whose head was stuck in the ground was a prince of Royalties Park. A prince was a king's son. Who dared be so ruthless? "I'm here to experience it." A girl's voice came from within the crowd, while Chin-Mu had already walked farther away. He suddenly heard another loud boom, and a girl in green flew backward and slammed into the walls of Hall of Hidden Light not far from him. Only a pair of slender legs remained outside. "Seems to be a princess." Chin-Mu looked back toward the crowd and thought to himself, "These moves are somewhat familiar. Seem to be Chancellor Bashan's battle spells." Chancellor Bashan established the ultimate skills of battle spells, merging battle technique movements with spell divine arts, producing power greater than battle techniques or spells alone. By this feat of founding, Chancellor Bashan entered the circle of powerful practitioners at the sect master level. In today's world, there was no one who could surpass his attainments in the ultimate skills of battle spells. The only weakness of battle spell ultimate skills was that it wasn't as nimble as battle techniques or spells by themselves. That was why, even though Chancellor Bashan became a sect master level powerhouse, he was unable to take another step forward. Could it be Sister Yuxiu? Why is she fighting with the princes and princesses? The dragon Chillin was so hungry that its steps turned unsteady and its belly had shriveled up. Chin-Mu suppressed his urge to go watch the battle and continued to the warehouse to buy the herbs. After the apothecary of the warehouse handed him the herbs, only then did he notice the huge creature behind Chin-Mu's back and freeze in shock. Chin-Mu brought the dragon Chillin back along the road they came from, analyzing the medicinal energy of the herbs as they went, and refined a furnace of Scarlet Fire spirit pills. The dragon Chillin hurriedly devoured them. Yet even a whole furnace of spirit pills didn't fill it. It looked at Chin-Mu with pleading eyes, and Chin-Mu could only refine another furnace of pills to finally satisfy the great creature's appetite. The dragon Chillin became lively again and followed at his side with a grin. "From now on, if you need anything, you can look for me. I'm quite good at fighting." Chin-Mu shook his head and headed toward Royalties Park. Hu Linger sneered, "You don't even dare fight a bull, and you still say you're good at fighting?" The dragon Chillin immediately drooped, crestfallen. Before Royalties Park, there was still a vast sea of people, and there were even more than before. He heard a scholar say, "Is there still no one in Royalties Park who can defeat her?" Ever since the seventh princess returned from experiencing the outside world, she seems like a different person. Her abilities have improved at an astonishing speed. To merge spells and battle techniques, and on top of that, the royal family's 9-dragon monarch technique, the seventh princess can basically sweep all of Royalties Park. I wonder if she can block the gates of Scholars' Residence and Divine Arts Residence. For Divine Arts Residence, I can't say, but for Scholars' Residence, she probably can't. After all, there's that devil in Scholars' Residence. That's true. It's been 3 months since we saw that devil. He must have died outside, finally removing a huge scourge from Scholars' Residence. With that devil's abilities, it doesn't mean he can defeat the seventh princess. Out of the way, everyone! Out of the way! Most of the scholars sensed a disturbance from behind and turned to look. They couldn't help but be stunned when they saw a huge creature, half dragon and half Qilin, nudging its body and shoving the scholars blocking the road aside. Some scholars lost their footing when they were pushed by this dragon Qilin and flew out of the crowd. This enormous creature drove everyone away and squeezed forward toward the gate of Royalty's Park, forcibly clearing a path. All the scholars stared in shock, and an instinctive fear rose in them. Even the royalties within Royalty's Park, those more knowledgeable, couldn't help but stare at this awe-inspiring dragon Qilin, unable to tear their eyes away. The dragon Qilin swayed its body and shook out its mane, then turned its head with a smile. "Young master, these visually impaired have already cleared a path for you. Young master, this way." Qinmu walked up to the gate of Royalty's Park and scolded, "Too flamboyant, too flamboyant. You can't do this next time. Senior brothers, senior sisters, excuse me, excuse me." Everyone's expressions froze in place. Qinmu looked into Royalty's Park and saw Ling Yushu sealing her 5 elements divine treasure as she battled Prince Mingyue. Prince Mingyue was also a scholar chosen by Chancellor Ba Shan, yet with only a few moves, he couldn't withstand Ling Yushu's terrifying explosive power and was blasted away. Ling Yushu burst her 5 elements divine treasure open, and 9 dragons coiled about her body. She looked valiant and formidable, her whole person radiating health and vigor. Qinmu gasped inwardly. After Ling Yushu's journey to Roland's Golden Palace, her cultivation had soared by leaps and bounds. These 3 months had given her an overwhelming advantage over the other scholars. It was clear that after she had blocked the gate at Roland's Golden Palace, she had cultivated with great diligence, delving deeper into the 9 dragons monarch technique and mending the weakness of her unstable foundation. Chancellor Ba Shan's method of teaching according to one's aptitude differed from what the directorates of Imperial College taught. He seized on Ling Yushu's weakness to temper her, and in the end allowed her to undergo a tremendous growth. However, Qinmu looked at Royalty's Park. Nearly torn down by this imperial princess, he had no idea who she had learned from to become so violent. The one that herds cows. Ling Yushu saw Qinmu, and her eyes lit up. She waved to the royalty of Royalty's Park and smiled. "I'll stop for today. We'll fight another day." With that, she walked toward Qinmu. Qinmu praised, "Sister Yushu, I haven't seen you for these past few months, and you've become even stronger." Ling Yushu complained, "Where have you been these days? You made me so worried." She immediately added, "Chancellor Ba Shan is also very worried about you. You don't know. The Grand Chancellor has resigned. The new Grand Chancellor isn't Chancellor Ba Shan, but that man sealed in ice that little General Qin and I rescued from surging River Dragon Palace." Man sealed in ice? Qinmu's heart stirred slightly. Could it be Gu Linuan? Ling Yushu saw the vast crowd still staring at them. After all, she was still shy, so she whispered, "There are too many people here. Let's go talk in my room." Qinmu nodded and followed her. Just as the two of them entered Royalty's Park, a figure flashed. A handsome young man appeared before them with a solemn face. "Seventh sister, how can you casually bring a man into a woman's room? Let's go to my room instead." Ling Yushu's face reddened, and she softly agreed. Ling Yushu's face was dark. "Scholar Qin, please." Qinmu was baffled. He had no idea where he had offended this imperial prince before. Ling Yushu looked at him as though he wanted to swallow him whole. They arrived at Ling Yushu's residence within Royalty's Park and saw that it had been arranged like a bright southern garden, elegant in every detail. Though the artificial mountains were not tall as true peaks, there was flowing water winding among them. Though the garden was not vast as a forest, it still offered a tranquil and secluded path, several times better than scholars' residence. This place was like a small palace, and there were even palace maids moving to and fro, attending to them with polite deference. These palace maids were also divine arts practitioners, beautiful and with strong abilities as well. Ling Yushu led them to a pavilion with a fine view and an expansive scene. Palace maids carried over an incense burner and set it beside the pavilion, then lit the incense, sending the fragrance curling up in spirals. From not far away came the sound of a guqin. The tune was unhurried and lingering, like 2 old men slowly playing chess, setting a move, pausing, then plucking a note or two, soothing the heart with ease. Second Prince truly has a refined and elegant state of mind. Qin exclaimed. Ling Yushu's expression eased, and he said, I must thank Academician Qin for looking after my seventh sister during her journey to the Great Wall. Seventh sister has told me of what happened in Roland's Golden Palace, and I know you saved my sister many times. Yushu cannot express my gratitude enough. Ling Yushu smiled. Cowherd is very powerful. I thought he had died, and I cried in front of Roland's Golden Palace's shaman. The corner of Ling Yushu's eyes twitched. She cried? She hadn't mentioned that before. It's fine, just the friendship of fellow schoolmates. This sister of mine also cried after a cat she raised died, Ling Yushu thought to himself. We even met my cowherd's elders, and the elders praised me for being sensible and were pleased with me. Ling Yushu said with a smile. The corner of Ling Yushu's eyes twitched again. She had already met the elders? Seventh sister hadn't mentioned this either. Ling Yushu said excitedly. Second brother, Chancellor Bashan is truly powerful. After he brought us out, my abilities improved tremendously. You saw it too. If Chancellor Bashan can take me and Cowherd out more, even you won't be able to defeat me. Ling Yushu shook his head. I asked about it. The next time Chancellor Bashan goes out, he will bring other reserved scholars. Ling Yushu was a little disappointed. Ling Yushu looked at Qin and said, Father has appointed Gu Linhuan as the Grand Chancellor. I've heard you have some enmity with Gu Linhuan. After Gu Linhuan became Grand Chancellor, he also asked the directorates of Imperial College about you. Ling Yushu smiled. I know about their enmity. Gu Linhuan's junior protector sword was scammed by Cowherd, so he bears a slight grudge. Ling Yushu said, it would be best for Academician Qin to return the junior protector sword to Gu Linhuan. This fellow was born from the Devil Path and is a Devil Path master who is usually petty. Father has appointed him Grand Chancellor, so I won't say much, but his breadth of mind is far inferior to the previous Grand Chancellor, and I can't guarantee he won't cause trouble for you. I can act as mediator and arrange for you to meet him to resolve the enmity between you two. I think he would let it go for my sake. Qin shook his head and said, The rule of our great ruins is that there is no need to return things that are scammed. Ling Yushu seemed to smile without quite smiling. But this place is not Great Ruins. He is the Grand Chancellor, and it is very easy for him to take revenge on you. Qin pondered it and said, I've heard Gu Linhuan said he was the junior protector of the Crown Prince. Junior protector of the Crown Prince means he should have been the teacher when the Crown Prince was young. Am I right? Second Prince, do you think Gu Linhuan will give face to you? Ling Yushu's heart trembled slightly. Qin continued. Second Prince, if he is willing to resolve the grudges, it isn't a problem for me to break Great Ruins rules and return the Junior Protector Sword to him. However, I feel that even if I return the Junior Protector Sword, he still won't give you face, nor will he resolve the grudges. Furthermore, Second Prince, aren't you worried about him giving you a hard time? Translator Ninetails. Fish Creek Ling Yushu's expression flickered like candlelight in a draft. Qin had struck precisely at the worry knotted in his heart. Gu Linhuan had once been the Crown Prince's teacher in the prince's youth. The Crown Prince was older than him and sat firmly upon the position of Crown Prince. If one said the gulf between royalty and commoner was as vast as heaven and earth, then the gulf between Crown Prince and Imperial Prince was likewise as vast as heaven and earth. Gu Linhuan would definitely not give him face. On the contrary, he would deliberately stir up trouble for him. Now, he could confirm it without the slightest doubt. I won't interfere with the matter between you and Gu Linhuan. Ling Yushu made his decision and said, but you must be careful. Gu Linhuan's way of handling affairs is unlike the previous Grand Chancellor. He doesn't have the breadth of mind to consider the long-term influence of a solid education. Qin nodded and said, Don't worry. Gu Linhuan will at most make things difficult for me. He won't dare go overboard. Ling Yushu's expression turned strange. Qin sounded far too bold. Where did this confidence come from? Could it be he and Seventh Sister have already? A bad thought drifted up in his mind. If he became the Emperor's son-in-law, then indeed there would be no need to fear Gu Linhuan. Ling Yushu fell silent for a moment, then said, I plan to leave Imperial College and head to the borders to lead my troops. I am the general of roaming cavalry and hold an official position. Furthermore, I've reached the age to command the army. However, I'm only worried about my seventh sister. Chinmu assured him. Don't worry. Second prince, there's me. The corners of Ling Yushu's eyes twitched as he thought to himself, that's exactly why I'm worried. Chinmu chatted with the siblings for a moment, then rose to bid farewell. I've only just returned home from a trip and haven't even set my luggage down. I must return to Scholar's residence first. Ling Yushu escorted him out of Royalty's park. After keeping silent for a moment, he said to Ling Yushu, Academician Qin's frame of mind is not like a youth's. He sees things with great clarity and will definitely become a very capable person in the future. His words earlier struck straight to the bottom of my heart. Ling Yushu burst into laughter and said, Who says he's an adult? He doesn't even understand anything, and he even says I'm chubby. He doesn't even know how to speak pleasing words. Ling Yushu shook his head and said, I'm going to write a letter to father and leave Imperial College. I can't be a scholar anymore. Now that Gu Linuan has become the Grand Chancellor, he most likely won't give you a nice look either. If you can't remain in Imperial College any longer, you can follow me to the borders. Ling Yushu nodded. Don't worry, second brother. If I can't stay here anymore, I'll definitely go find you at the borders. However, I still want to cultivate along with Chancellor Bashan. Ling Yushu looked at her and understood exactly what she was thinking. Yet he couldn't say anything. He could only shake his head. Chinmu returned to Scholar's residence, and the enormous dragon Qilin followed behind him. Along the way, most of the scholars in Scholar's residence cast envious gazes at them. Yunquei came up with a smile and said, Sister Fox, I've earned enough money. Can I redeem my clothes back? Hu Linger accepted the coin pouch, pressed it with her fingers, then nodded. Wait a moment, I'll go fetch it for you. Yunquei was full of gratitude. Hu Linger returned to the house to retrieve his clothes while shouting, Those who owe me money, hurry and take your money out to redeem your certificate of indebtedness. After a moment, a few scholars came over with resentful expressions to redeem their certificates of indebtedness. Hu Linger was very satisfied and said, Next time you get beaten by young master, I can give you 20% discount. A scholar shook his head. Imperial Academician is a 6th-ranking official. Who dares challenge him? Hu Linger was stunned for a moment, then turned her head to tell Chinmu, Young master, we've lost our source of income. Our whole fortune is going to be eaten up, and we can't raise this big fella anymore. The dragon Qilin pulled his head back and muttered, A liter of Scarlet Fire Spirit pills each day is also fine, as long as there's something to eat. Chinmu consoled, Don't worry, I can raise you. That's right. Do you have some saliva? Give me a bottle, and let me see if I can exchange it for money. Hu Linger fetched a jade bottle and collected a bottle of dragon's saliva. Chinmu stored the bottle carefully and instructed them to stay home while he headed to Hall of Supreme Healing. The few old imperial physicians were researching prescriptions within the hall, and they were all delighted upon seeing him. Little divine physician is finally back. What spirit pill do you plan to make today? If it's an anesthetic or poison, please warn us beforehand. Chinmu greeted these imperial physicians and said, I'm here to find imperial physicians to test a medicine. As he spoke, he took out a small jade bottle. When the few imperial physicians saw this small jade bottle, their expressions changed drastically. Imperial physician Yu asked with a trembling voice, I recognize this bottle. Is it another anesthetic? Nope, it's a healing panacea. The moment Chinmu said this, Imperial physician, Yu drew out a small knife. He hesitated for a moment, then gave Imperial physician Ding's arm a slice, causing fresh blood to flow out. Imperial physician Ding flew into a rage and was about to explode when Chinmu hurried forward. He opened the jade bottle and applied a little dragon saliva onto the wound, and they only saw the wound heal at once, returning to its original state within a few breaths, without even a scar left behind. The few Imperial physicians were astonished, immediately crowding forward. Imperial physician Yu asked, To what extent of injuries can this healing panacea cure? Can it reattach broken limbs? Chinmu nodded. It can. There was a person severed from the waist, and I used this medicine to reattach his body and return it to normal. However, this medicine only serves as support. The tendons and nerves still need to be manually reattached. That puts one's technique to the test. Imperial Physician Ding glanced aside and saw Imperial Physician. You raise his knife again. He immediately shouted, "If you dare chop me, I'll poison your whole family." Imperial Physician. You couldn't bring himself to do it and went out of the hall. After a moment, he brought a scholar in. All the Imperial Physicians immediately shook their heads, and Imperial Physician Yu stomped his foot in anger. Old Yu, are you mad? Even if you want to test medicine, you can't chop his limbs. That scholar broke into a cold sweat upon hearing this and immediately fled. Imperial Physician. You wanted to catch him back, but was instantly blocked by the other Imperial Physicians. You can't. You absolutely can't. Scholars are 8 ranking officials. If you chop their limbs off, you'll face a lawsuit. Taoist Lingyun has a crane that fought with Chancellor Bashan's green cow a few days ago, and had her leg broken by the green cow. You can fetch that crane over and sever her leg to reattach it. Imperial Physician. You went out again, and after a moment, brought the crane back. Imperial Physician. Clamped the crane's beak, making the crane indescribably terrified and unable to struggle. Imperial Physician. You followed the injury and severed the leg off. The few Imperial Physicians cleaned up the shattered bones and waited for Qin Mu to treat it. After a moment, Taoist Lingyun barged in and was about to explode, only to see Qin Mu reattaching the crane's broken bones, then reattaching the muscles and nerves, clearing the bone marrow. Taoist Lingyun didn't dare utter a word. He waited until Qin Mu finished reattaching the leg. Only then did the Imperial Physicians loosen their restraint. That crane immediately stood up and moved her leg around in astonishment. With a loud and clear voice belonging to a little girl, she expressed her sincere thanks to Qin Mu. Qin Mu wrote down a prescription and handed it to Taoist Lingyun. Brew medicines according to this prescription and boil some water to soak her injured leg. It can help stimulate the nerves and channels, removing any hidden damage. Taoist Lingyun saw his crane recover and couldn't help being both surprised and delighted. He immediately took the prescription and thanked him profusely with a smile. You beat me in front of the Emperor, and I had borne some grudges before. Now I'm even grateful to you. Qin Mu smiled. Don't fight, won't make friends. Taoist Lingyun kept feeling this sentence was a little awkward and used in the wrong circumstances, but he didn't brood on it. He immediately called his crane over and headed to the warehouse to collect the herbs. Qin Mu smiled and said, Imperial Physicians, how much is this bottle of healing medicine worth? I'm recently tight on money. The few Imperial Physicians were surprised and delighted. Imperial Physician Yu said, Little Divine Physician wants to sell? It's quite valuable. This kind of healing medicine is even more precious than any natural treasure to soldiers on the battlefield. I reckon it would be worth 10,000 Great Abundance coins. Qin Mu was astonished and said, Even faster than Fan Yunxiao robbing people? What? The Imperial Physician didn't catch what he said. Nothing much. Qin Mu smiled. I can refine a bottle every day and sell it at Hall of Supreme Healing for 10,000 gold. How is that? The Imperial Physician's eyes lit up, and they exchanged glances. Imperial Physician Yu said, That would naturally be the best. Qin Mu was satisfied and took his leave. The white heads of the few Imperial Physicians huddled together, and Imperial Physician Q said, We're getting rich. All the Imperial Physicians nodded, unable to contain their excitement. Old Yu is still the wise one. This small bottle of healing medicine isn't worth just 10,000 gold. We can easily earn twice the price by selling it. Qin Mu walked out of Hall of Supreme Healing and returned toward Scholar's residence when a voice suddenly came from behind him. Little bald donkey, where's your Kakara staff? Qin Mu halted and turned around to look at the elder in purple behind him. With a smile, he bowed. Student greets Grand Chancellor Gu. This elder in purple was Gu Linuan, and the 9 coat of arms was nowhere to be seen on his purple robes. It seemed he had removed his first-ranking official robes and changed into third-ranking official robes. Gu Linuan gave a faint smile and strolled toward him, speaking leisurely. When you scammed my junior protector sword, did you ever expect the day would come when you'd fall into the grasp of my hand instead? Qin Mu shook his head. What is Grand Chancellor saying this for? Gu Linuan gave a haughty smile and stretched out his hand. Hand it over. Qin Mu shook his head again. I never return the things I scammed. Gu Linwan's gaze turned fierce, yet Chinmu was not afraid in the slightest. I'm now a sixth-ranking official, the imperial academician appointed by the emperor himself. Empress Dowager's illness was cured by me. If you touch me, the emperor will execute your whole family. Boom! The devil chi around Gu Linuan roiled into turmoil and formed 1,000-feet devil god behind him, murderous in aspect. That 1,000-feet devil god solidified the surrounding air and seemed to warp space itself, making this devil appear distorted, like blazing noon sun scorching the earth, as it stared fiercely at him. Chinmu smiled and asked, "Does Grand Chancellor still have anything else?" Gu Linwan said coldly, "If I want to kill you, I won't have to do it myself. You also won't dare to do it." Before Chinmu could say anything, a voice sounded behind Gu Linwan. "If you touch my junior brother, there's no need for the emperor to execute your whole family. I'll execute your whole family." Gu Linwan's body froze, as if an unbreakable knife had pressed against his neck. He chuckled and said, "Chancellor Bashan, you want to stand up for this little bald donkey?" Chancellor Bashan stood behind him with his chest wide open, his two knives behind his back rattling without end. Without any expression, he said, "Old Gu, you haven't appeared for 200 years. Your path, your skills, your divine arts, they're all behind the times. Do you need me to give you some guidance?" Gu Linwan suddenly burst into loud laughter. His body vanished as he turned into devil chi. His voice came from afar as he mocked, "Give me guidance? Except it was heaven knife here." Chinmu turned and suddenly strand of knife chi break through the air to chase after that devil chi. Chancellor Bashan always likes to fight and must be delighted to see a prey. What a pity I can't catch up to them. Chinmu sighed and returned to Scholar's residence. The moment he entered the door, he heard Hulinger's voice call out, "Young master, we have a visitor." Chinmu stepped inside and couldn't help being stunned when he saw a middle-aged man waiting in the courtyard with hands clasped behind his back. "Eternal Peace, Imperial Preceptor." Eternal Peace, Imperial Preceptor turned around, his gaze landing on him. The sacred cult master of Heavenly Saint Cult. Who would have thought he is the first Imperial academician of our Imperial College? How interesting.